Hello, Facebook Live. Marcus here. It is Friday afternoon, and I wanted to talk about some really awesome special beers that we have here at Aroma Thyme. People love this beer that we do, this beer program that we do. So, one of the biggest trends besides hazy IPAs in the beer world is to barrel age beers, to whiskey barrel, rum barrel, bourbon barrel, rye barrel beers, where they'll take the breweries will get barrels from distilleries and take these barrels and then take their Scotch ale, take their Belgian double, take their stout, imperial stout, porter, and age these in these barrels. And this is an amazing concept because what happens is, in our quest in the beer world for flavor, mouthfeel, body, we're adding all these whiskey or rum nuances and oak and charred oak into beers that are producing this amazing quality beer. But what we've discovered here at Aroma Thyme is that when you buy a keg of these barrel-aged beers and you put it on tap, what happens is when they're first made, the beer tends to be a little hot. Typically a little hot with whiskey or the bourbon or the spirit that was aged in. It hasn't had time to settle down yet. So we've come up with this great system of where we age kegs for a full year before we tap them. Now currently we have on the barrel-aged, the bourbon barrel-aged backwards bastard from Founders. By the way, you can go to Untapped and go to our Untapped profile, Aroma Thyme, and check out our beers on draft and our upcoming list. We have a whole upcoming list of about 15 kegs that, with the dates on them, with the vintage dates on them, that we've been aging in our walk-in for a good year or plus. Some of them 2 years. We just tapped an Avery that was aged for almost 3 years. We tapped it this summer. It went super quick. So the premise of this is that you're taking a barrel that's been made of oak, American oak, French oak, whatever kind of oak. It is then charred to the distiller's liking, so it's basically torched inside, charred. They put a clear whiskey or a clear spirit into it, like whiskey, bourbon, because they're not brown at this point. They're clear, and then they age it for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, or maybe even more. The whiskey that's developing is soaking into the oak like a sponge. The charred from the oak is mellowing out the spirit, giving a color. There's this great transformation of flavors that are happening in these barrels as they're making bourbon, whiskey, rye, and so on. So the brewer gets these barrels, and they have to get them while they're fresh, which means they were emptied out and then sent to the location and put in, because it's not recommended that the barrels dry out because it's like a sponge inside. So they put the beer in there for sometimes 3 months, 6 months, sometimes for a full year, and out comes this magical thing. And like I said, when it goes into the bottle at first, it goes in the keg and you tap it, sometimes it's a little bit hot of whiskey. So we age our kegs that have been barrel infused, the beers that are barrel infused, for a full year. Now here's my dilemma right now. We have 15 kegs right now that are a good dozen that are at the year mark, that are saying, now we've got to start putting these in. We've got one on tap at all points, at all times. A couple times this year we had 2 on tap. So for now on, for the rest of the winter, we're gonna run 2 barrel-aged beers on draft at all times. We have to wait for something to kick here, which is gonna happen this weekend. But basically, could be tonight, could be tomorrow night. One of these nights coming up soon, we're gonna have 2 barrel-aged. Now we have a lot of amazing choices. I have a lot of Founders. North Coast, I have 2 vintages. I'll have 3 vintages here very soon of the North Coast Old Rasputin. I have 1 bourbon barreled. I have 1 rye barreled. Captain Lawrence Golden Delicious. Have you ever had Captain Lawrence Golden Delicious, where they take their Belgium triple and then age it in, I think, apple barrel brandies? We have 2 vintages of those. So I have 2 kegs, 1 a year after each other. So every year, a lot of these kegs come through the pipeline, through our distribution system as they make them. They're only 1 time a year releases. So everything on our list for Untapped, and you can go on Untapped and follow us and see what's on there. Everything on our Untapped upcoming page, which you can get on your phone, by the way. All the vintages are there. Everything's dated. We have 2 vintages of CBS in a keg. We're very excited to tap. We're going to be tapping one here probably about New Year's. Central Waters. We have their bourbon barrel Scotch from 2017, June 2017. So a lot of really cool beers, but we need your help in consuming these beers. So barrel-aged beers, we're going to be starting having 2 on draft now at Aroma Time. From here on out, we have to start depleting the stock because we have a lot more coming in. We have a lot of these on pre-order, on special order. Now, the cool thing is, some will say, oh, Marcus, you're aging the beers for a full year. So we've actually we did a test last year. We took 1 beer, we bought 2 kegs of it, of a barrel-aged beer. And it didn't when we drank it, we're like, okay, this beer's good. It's a little hot. And then we kept 1 keg and tapped it this fall. And everybody on the tasting panel from last year to this year agreed 100% that the beer was not totally different, but it transformed magically. And the whiskey had settled down, and the flavors had come through, and it mellowed out, and there was more. We were agreed across the board, everybody in the tasting panel, that the beer was much, much better aging it for a full year in the keg, a whiskey barrel. So that's the whole premise of that, is just to sit them. And we have tons of bottles too. We're thinking about doing a barrel night here in January, I think. We literally have probably 30 different bottles of barrel-aged beer. So stay tuned for that announcement. That's gonna probably January or maybe February, have a whole barrel-aged night here with a bunch of barrel-aged beers. So beers, we love beer here at Aroma Time, so keep watching our Facebook Lives and our Facebook and our Untapped, UNTAPPD, skip the E, Untapped. It's an app. You can follow our beer list. You can sign up for push notifications there. And every time we tap something new or your other favorite restaurant, if they're on Untapped, it'll send you a notification saying this was just tapped at Aroma Time. You can keep up to us currently on that. But for right now, we're drinking the Backwoods Bastard from Founders, and this was aged in bourbon, 11.6% alcohol. And this keg is, well, how old is this keg? It's probably 1.5 years, maybe 2 years old. We're on 2 years and 2 months on this keg. This keg was aged for 2 years and 2 months. Oh, so good. This is a Scotch ale, by the way, aged in bourbon. All right, folks, aromatimebistro.com. Keep watching our Facebook page for more beer updates. If you like whiskey beer, whiskey barreled beer, bourbon barrel beer, rye, rum, tag a friend, tag yourself, like this, share this, and come down for an amazing beer here at Aroma Time. Thanks for watching, everybody.